My name is Ben Hering. I am the Director of Partnerships here with CUCollaborate, and you are on the Data-Driven Impact Reporting and Advocacy webinar here with CUCollaborate. I've been with the company now for just over 2 years, come from credit unions. I used to work for a credit union here in Minnesota, which is where I live and work from. And then prior to joining the CUCollaborate team, I was at the Minnesota Credit Union Network, which is the league here in our state, and have an intimate understanding of the importance of leagues, of advocacy, and of impact reporting. And so throughout today's session here, I'm going to provide just a brief introduction of who we are at CUCollaborate, what we do for anyone who doesn't know us, and then dive right into the importance of impact reporting and advocacy. So we're going to talk a bit about the importance of it. We're going to talk about what that looks like from an advocacy side, how we support at CUCollaborate, how we support advocacy through impact reporting and data-driven initiatives. And then we're going to hand it off to Deliana, who's going to talk a little bit about how you might use some of these insights to leverage your relationships with SEGs and community organizations, and essentially share the story of the credit union with community organizations. And then I'll also be jumping around. I have a couple other things that I want to show you throughout today's session. So please bear with me if there are any pauses in maneuvering through some of the technology here today. So thanks again for joining us. I'm going to jump right in here to CUCollaborate. So we became a CUSO last year, Credit Union Service Organization, and have credit union investors throughout the country. Our focus is on data and analytics, and we are really hyper-focused on helping credit unions grow. We do that through impact, performance, and growth strategies, empowering credit unions to really leverage their proprietary data and our technology to grow and to drive smarter strategic decision-making throughout the organization. We have a number of subject matter experts throughout many areas of credit union growth initiatives, and just I love the credit union space. CU is in our name, and we're very much connected to you as credit unions. So just a few more pieces on what we do day in and day out. So our two main lines of business are we develop and maintain and evolve our software, and then we have consulting, which allows us to do kind of these three main segments of our organization, which are growth, performance, and impact. And then on the right-hand side here are all the various different things that we do. Under growth, really our bread and butter, field and membership and charter expansions, charter conversions. That has allowed us to kind of back into consumer marketing and branding, SEG and business development work, growth strategies, and have been working closely over the past 9 months or so on helping credit unions look at who their next best potential merger partner might be through the merger network. Through performance and analytics and benchmarking, we've been able to help credit unions understand who their members are, understand where their footprint is currently, what they might want to take into consideration on to the future. And then as it pertains to those expansion efforts, really trying to define what your next best product is or could be, what you serve and how you serve your members best today, and what might help you do that better in the future. And then of course on the impact side, really helping credit unions gain access to beneficial regulatory programs like the CDFI certification, the low income designation, and something we're going to talk a lot about here today is impact analytics. How are you, who's the member that you're serving, how are you serving them, and how does that actually tie into the importance of advocacy, telling your story, etc. So why do we do this? This chart is showing how hard it is to run a credit union today. And so back in the 70s, as many of you probably already know, we had 20, I think at one point we might have even had 26,000 credit unions in the country, maybe pre-1970. Today, obviously, much fewer than that. So today, I think we have somewhere around 45, 4,600 credit unions throughout the country, and we're seeing that number shrink. And we're coming up in a period of time where we're really needing to focus on how do we preserve credit unions. There are a lot of things happening right now, and the importance of protecting credit unions is more important than ever. And in order to do that, we need to understand the makeup of our organizations, who are we serving, why are we doing that, and ultimately we need to be able to tell our story. And so when we talk about supporting the credit union mission at CUCollaborate, we've been doing so across the industry and have been finding a lot of success in supporting the credit union industry through our league partnerships. And so what we're doing right now is we're taking that same data-driven approach that we take to a lot of the initiatives that we do day in and day out with our credit union clients, and connecting that to advocacy and helping leagues and associations across the country tell the story of why credit unions, why we're so important to our members. Through doing that, we're able to support, obviously, the credit union mission, and then ultimately, we're looking at increasing impact. How do we move the needle from where we are today and increase participation in these initiatives throughout the country, so that we can ensure that credit unions can enjoy a long-lasting, sustainable, and just a thriving history into the future. So advocacy is critical. Hopefully you've seen this. I'm sure many of you are involved at least to some degree in something like Don't Tax My Credit Union. It is the initiative that the America's Credit Unions organization is pushing out and hoping that you participate in as a credit union. The point is, tax exemption is really a big piece of who we are. So we are not, obviously, not-for-profit cooperatives, and we exist to serve the segments of our community that were at one point marginalized and were forgotten about, or maybe they were targeted purposely by the broader banking industry to prey on them. And so credit unions exist to serve these very specific groups of individuals, and we need to ensure that we're able to continue to do that. And so Don't Tax My Credit Union, if you haven't been involved in it yet, hopefully this starts to plant that seed, and it is going to be critical as we're looking at protecting credit unions for I think it's 142 million consumers throughout the country who leverage our services. One way that we're doing this and making sure that we can support these types of initiatives in a data-driven approach is supporting America's Credit Union's Project Zip Code initiative. So right now, if you're not familiar with it, the Project Zip Code initiative is a program that counts members and connects your members to congressional districts, state legislative districts, and counties. Why that's important is when we go into a meeting with a legislator, we need to tell them exactly how much impact that we're having down to the consumer. And so when we can say we serve X amount of people that you represent, that's a really powerful piece of the story, right? And so we found that we already, our software already has all the data that you would ever need to submit over to Project Zip Code. And so why not support this initiative by sending our data over to Project Zip Code on the behalf of credit unions? And so we now partner with leagues and our credit union clients, credit unions across the country, to process your files over to America's Credit Union's Project Zip Code initiative on your behalf. We believe that the surest path to financial wellness is through the maximized member benefit. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what that actually means. But in short, your members are not only going to look to you as a trusted financial institution when you increase their benefit, but also it is going to directly impact their life. right? If we can save your members money, we are positively impacting people. So on the screen that you're seeing right here is it's a real impact report. It's a snapshot of a credit union that we serve. They are part of our CUCO, American United. And I'm actually going to show you a live version of this here in a moment. The reason why I transitioned to this was as an incentive to and a reason to participate in Project Zip Code and help the America's Credit Unions Initiative. We will also give you these insights. So we've partnered with leagues across the country. We've now partnered with our clients to help you pull in your data. All our analytics platforms are built on the ARIES file, so it's an extract that you already have. And the idea here is to not only are we going to support an advocacy initiative for the industry, but we're actually going to give you insights into your members for doing that. And so actually to do this, here's going to be trial number one. I'm actually going to pull this up. Hopefully you guys can see this. You guys see this?
It's good.
Okay, awesome. So this is a live dashboard, as I mentioned, American United Federal Credit Union out of Utah. And when you log in, if you upload your data to our platform and have us submit your data to Project Zip Code on your behalf, you'll also gain access to various components of the Analyze CU platform. This is the impact report. It is a live dashboard. What you just saw there is an export, so you can export this information into an easily printable and digestible PDF that you might share for, let's say, a legislative meeting. You might also use this. I'm seeing more and more so credit unions using this for strategic planning or board meetings. We're seeing credit unions using this for your annual reports, right? Showing what we've done or what we're able to do for our members. So moving down here, what you're seeing on the screen is this total annual benefits to consumers. What we're doing here is we're taking in data from Census Bureau, credit bureaus, call report data, and then, of course, your credit union's ARIES file to run what we call a risk-based benefit analysis or risk-based member benefit score to show you apples to apples how much you're saving on average your member by them just being a member at your credit union. So on average, for example, at American United, they're saving their members about $450 a year. When we talk about the cooperative status, people serving people, all the wonderful things that you guys talk about, not for profit, that resonates with a certain individual, but money resonates with just about everyone, right? And so if you're able to say we can serve your needs and save you money to the tune of maybe $450 a year, that's real. That's a real thing that people understand. And so that's what we're trying to do here with these impact reports. Scrolling down, we can show all sorts of different things here. Obviously, we can aggregate that across your membership. So on average, this credit union saves their membership about $10 million a year across the entirety of their membership. We can show you service across area types, so rural, economically distressed. We can show you income levels and service to those various different income levels, median credit scores, and then a lot of different things from the Census Bureau, which I'll show you here in a moment. But right here, what you're seeing are data that we have based on race and ethnicity, how well you're reaching members in various different groups that are existent in all of your communities throughout the country here. All helpful to tell your story. Also helpful, I'll leave some of those nuggets for Deliana, but think about this in terms of who are we serving today? Who might we want to be serving in the future? How could this actually help you benchmark to see movement across maybe your strategic initiatives, maybe some of the intentions that you've already built in place, et cetera. So that's just one really quick high-level thought there. When you're going into this, for leagues, for any legislative conversation that you might be having, you can actually change this, the geography, to any different type that you could think of or that you would want. So it defaults to all geographies, which is essentially the country. But let's say you're going into a conversation with a representative from a very specific congressional district. You can actually choose that congressional district, and all of these numbers are going to actually change to show you how many members are in that congressional district, what is the total member benefit that you're extending out to members in that particular area, so that when you hand that off to your legislator, it's very real, right? And so you can print that off as well. So we have congressional districts, census tracts, counties, cities, states, and then we go all the way down to state legislative districts. Pretty cool. The last thing I'm just going to show here on this live demo is if you're a credit union, right now, if you're a credit union that's a part of one of our league partners, you actually can log in today. If you don't have a registration, go to CUCollaborate.com, go to the registration and sign up button at the top right-hand corner, I believe, and get a login. You'll be able to do this today if you would like to. If you're not a part of one of the leagues that we partner with, we can still help you. Contact me directly, and we'll be happy to discuss how we can do that. The last thing I wanted to show you on this was demographics. So for doing this as a credit union, we'll also show you a number of different data points and insights that you can glean from the Census Bureau data that we have. And so go through, the blue bar is the credit union, the green bar is kind of like the area. I've chosen a very specific area of 5-mile radius of branches to give you a hyper-local viewpoint of that. We'll go across income, housing, educational attainment and health, work, and age to show you a lot of different insights that you could, think of anything that you could get from the Census Bureau, we can enrich your data with. All these pieces have been built as requests from our clients. And so I think, for example, we work with a lot of credit unions that are focused on SAG groups and development. I'm sure, again, Deliana will talk more about this. I'm not going to highlight this too much, but we get a lot of questions from groups saying, hey, we want to know who our veterans are. We have a veteran strategy. Can you show us who our veterans are, and maybe even down to some of the wartime service that they've had, and so we can actually show you some of that as well. So that's just a really high level of some of the things that we do on the impact reporting. The last thing I'm going to do here is just share a little bit about what we can do, and this is a snapshot of a CD-specific report here. As you can see, the numbers have changed here for this particular credit union. And then on the league side. So for leagues, if you're a league out there, or if you'd like us to talk to your league, we can aggregate this information. So what you just saw was credit union specific. What you're seeing right here is actually for the Nebraska Credit Union League. So we did a pilot with them to bring in credit unions. I think we have about 15 or 16 credit unions who are now participating in our Project Zip Code data submission program. What we can show Nebraska and other leagues that we partner with is their aggregate member benefit. So imagine going into your senator's office and being able to say, credit unions in our state have this amount of impact. Here's how many people we serve, total number of jobs, economic contribution, et cetera. Really impactful information to support the story of your credit union. And then before I'll hand this over to Deliana, just We'll send these slides over. The short of this slide is credit unions have seen immense value in working through this process with us. There's a bunch of credit unions that have used CUCollaborate to help them process project zip code files while also leveraging the impact reporting that we provide them. So with that, I know Deliana is going to talk a bit more about how we're going to use some of these insights with organizations out there in our community to do more of the good things that you guys are doing. So I'm going to give the control over to you, Diana.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Really appreciate it. It can't emphasize enough to just the involvement with your leagues. They're such a great resource for all credit unions, and it's just a really big part of the movement in general. So if you're not involved with your leagues and your leagues aren't participating with CUCollaborate, I really encourage that because this is already automated, streamlined for you, and it just helps your advocacy efforts, especially in a time that we are in the times that we are today. So, big shout out to Ben. I love hearing his intimate experience with the credit union movement. So I highly recommend scheduling some time with him. So let's talk about leveraging data with SEGs. If anyone's ever been to any of my other sessions, you guys know I love data. And also I love the art of B2B and business development. In order to make our SEG relationships fruitful, we really need to be able to prove the value. So to make partnerships sustainable and to continue getting access to sharing the credit union benefit in B2B relationships, it's our job to prove that. We could tell stories all day about how we help members, but businesses really want to see it in a tangible form. Credit unions have a treasure trove of data from demographics, transactional, financial, and behavioral insights. A lot of what Ben has mentioned, with our impact reporting has a lot of those data sets already there. Credit unions in general rival even the most data-driven companies with all the information that we sit on. It's more than just numbers. It's the key to demonstrating your credit union's value in a very measurable way. Helps us build trust, helps you make informed decisions for financial initiatives and the strategy you put behind your strategic partnerships. And then it backs up why the partnership should exist in the first place. So in modern B2B, data is the forefront of the entire process of managing a successful SEG relationship. From the business expectations set throughout the partnership to the ongoing yearly account management and how you work on various initiatives with those key contacts throughout the organization. All partnerships need, and these are three components I firmly believe, clear expectations on what comes with credit union partnership, from the perspective of what the credit union provides to the SEG and what the SEG also needs to provide to the credit union. That sets the stage for both parties. You have to launch the partnership with a really strong rollout and strategy, and that's when you start to measure baseline participation, along with measuring any monetary benefits their employees gain by using the credit union. With a lot of my partners, that's how we start the relationship. We take that baseline inventory, and throughout the year, our mutual goals that we set with each other are to increase participation from where we started, as well as their hiring trends are incorporated. But you have to start with really clear expectations and a strong rollout strategy to make sure you get the biggest bang for your buck when you start any partnership. You have to execute on annual partnership initiatives that are meant to put more money back into their employees' pockets while simultaneously driving growth back to your credit union. The intention of impact reporting is showing how many people are participating in those initiatives, how many dollars the credit union has saved them, how many homes or transportation was obtained through the credit union. There's a lot that we have to brag about, but we just need to make sure we measure it constantly and consistently. That's where our impact reporting really slides in nicely, where we quantified that member lifetime value, not only what the organization as a whole helps save the membership base, but even drilling down to that individual. I mean, $458, what Ben shared, that's a lot of money. That's to use a credit union service and know that oh, I mean, that's almost $500. How much could people do with that money? You know, putting it in a savings account for their kids, having some money in their pocket for when, you know, something breaks in the house so you don't have to get a loan out. There's a lot of things that we can talk to and speak to in really quantifying that member lifetime value and sharing those tangible dollar amounts. And then, of course, the third component is ongoing account management to continue uncovering opportunities in seg relationships, making sure your partners know that you're invested in them, and nurturing those relationships to really ensure participation and engagement continues to increase year over year. We have to remain top of mind with our SEG and community partners and really make it hard for them to not want to work with us. You know, one thing I love to do with SEG partners is give them a look back. I tend to just do about 5 years. You know, depending on your longevity with the SEG, but it's cool to see within a 2, 3, 5 year span how much engagement has increased by those different initiatives that you launch, and also by showing the value of each initiative and showing the dollars that you save. And if you use, as Ben mentioned, those impact reports as part of your strategic planning discussions, organizationally, you can set KPIs. We're at 458 today. In 2025, we want that to be 475. Like, increase the goal of how much you want to save your members, and then share that value back to your partners. So on the next slide, I talk really, again, we're highlighting again the same kind of screenshot and demo that Ben shared, but think of CUCollaborate's impact reporting as a performance dashboard. You can use other internal core metrics to really enrich the report. There's various data sets that prove that value, like the membership increase over time, products and services per that SEG group members. So if you're not doing this today or really need to elevate what you currently have, please reach out to us. But I would encourage you to make this a priority in 2025 or in 2026, you know, if you have to plan that out, to invest in this really crucial foundational piece of partnership. Like I said, partners like us today exist to have this automated for you. But, you know, if you had to create some additional data sets with your own core data, you know, put that on the roadmap as your overall growth engine. And remember that data really provides transparency on all sides, externally and internally. And on the next slide too, I'll talk about that with impact reporting is not only for our partners, but it also helps us as growth strategy and BD community development professionals to really show the fruits of our labors. So go to the next slide. It's really pivotal to be able to show how we grow not only members, assets, loans, deposits, all the KPIs that are crucial for credit union growth. This is the kind of reporting, will ultimately allow you to show what a successful SEG relationship looks like versus one that needs more pillars activated. You'll see trends, you'll see areas of opportunity, and then areas that deserve to be celebrated. Using impact reporting not only is, like I said, key to show value for the partners, but as a part of your internal infrastructure of growth and strategy, it's also a really key piece. We all say we want financial wellness for all and empowering financial well-being, and feel-good stories are great, but I'm all about how do we really show that value back to the member, to the SEG partner, and then to our leadership and our board. We can say we want to do something, but if we don't have ways to measure it and showing that we're moving the needle forward, then, you know, are we really making that impact? And so using things like CUCollaborate's impact reporting, developing some data sets in-house, those are the things that are really going to continue to make you stand out in the marketplace to select employer groups, community organizations, advocacy to our government. And so, like, it's so important to really activate this piece of the strategy and use it in our business model moving forward. It's really a win-win for all. So I'm going to open the floor now to any Q&A. I don't see anything in the chat right now. Let's see if anything comes through the Q&A, but Ben and I are here to answer any questions that you may have on any of the content that we've just discussed.
I'll also just mention, as we're waiting for some folks. If anyone has any questions, please do chime in. I do actually also have a brief snippet from a credit union league that actually Nebraska that has been in partnership with CUCollaborate to share a little bit about the importance of what we're doing here today. And so I'm going to go ahead and share that briefly. Hang on one sec here. As we're waiting on some questions,
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, you can hear me and Ben talk all day, but we'd rather you hear from one of our actual partners who uses this at one of the league partners that we have.
So this is Brandon from the Nebraska League. He's the Chief Advocacy Officer and will be the league president here once Scott hangs up his hat in June. So
from the league's perspective, these impact reports are really important. As we talked about earlier, bringing data into the conversation with lawmakers is critical. And those impact reports allow us to bring that data to lawmakers on specific issues. And so the impact reporting for us as the league has been critical. I know it's been important for credit unions as well. And some of the testimonials we've had from credit unions after they've participated or worked with CUCollaborate, it's been how they're able to use those impact reports to look at their lending products, what they're doing, maybe where they're falling short in their mind or in their eyes, and where they can improve, but also where they've done really well. And so the impact reports, I think, are extremely added value for credit unions and certainly for leagues, because we want to be able to bring accurate data to our lawmakers, and because we want to be a trusted source of information for our lawmakers to make sure that credit unions are protected. And that's what the impact reporting can do. If you have good participation, you have to have credit unions participating in that.
So yeah,
Thanks.
Absolutely. And wanted to also show, it looks like we have a question coming through in the chat here. I also wanted to just show for anyone who's not yet registered for or signed up for the CUCollaborate site, literally when you go to our site, CUCollaborate.com, and sign in, if you don't already have a login, you can go to sign up here, and it'll prompt you to just put your name, email, password, and then we'll send you an email. Here's how you get in, and then when you go in there, I'll go ahead and log in. Couple things. One, we are a SOC 2 Type 2 compliant organization. We take data security very seriously. As I mentioned earlier, our whole platform runs on the ARIES file, so you shouldn't have to do an extra extract from your core. You should already have that, as it's the file that you need to send over to the NCUA. And if you're ready to go, we offer several different ways to upload your data. If you want to do it in more of a automated way, we have PowerShell and SFTP capabilities. You can also do this manually if you just want to kind of get started with it. Totally up to you. And of course, would love to schedule a meeting with you anyway, but please do reach out to myself or our team if you ever need any help with this. And then once you've done this, then you can go down to the annualized CU platform and go to impact report demographics if you're a credit union. So yeah, we do have a question there.
Yeah, looks like we have a question that came through the Q&A, more of a comment, but I think, Ben, I could take this and then feel free to answer, or feel free to add any additional context to it. Oh, the question was, a question added to this question. Could you repeat what you just said, Ben? Did you say we can automatically update our impact reporting data?
You can, and so depending upon, let's see here. Oh yeah, so I see what the comment is here. So you can get help. Yeah, so you can get help from your BI team to update your. Okay, I think the question is like, can we provide support? And that's absolutely what we do on a day-to-day basis. We have account managers at CUCollaborate that can help. So if for some reason there's a roadblock, we're happy to help with hand-holding or kind of getting the process started. And then once you have the process started, if you want to automate it, you can set up SFTP to basically have it automated in transmitting those ARIES files over. You can do that. I think a lot of credit unions are using PowerShell these days. That seems to be a trend that I've seen more and more so. But then you can also do it in a manual way, of course. If you just get your ARIES file, we have an encryption tool that will encrypt your sensitive information. We do not want to consume things like the social security number or anything like that. We just want to be able to enrich your data with the insights that we can provide you on the data connections that we have. And so if you're having trouble either doing this on your own or need some support for any reason at all, please just let us know and we'd be happy to support. I think especially from a bandwidth side, that is definitely one of the value propositions that we have going into this initiative. Coming from the league, I knew and know intimately the challenge it can be, especially on a smaller credit union side. You have a lot of things. You're focused on serving your member. You're focused on doing what the credit union does. And so any additional task is that, and it's just an added thing for you to do. And so the extent to which we can support you in being involved in these types of initiatives or taking advantage of some of these insights, the better. That's a big reason why we've been doing this.
Yeah, I echo that, Ben. Being able to work with an organization, especially a CUSO, that helps automate this and essentially is an extension of your team. I mean, think of it like we're part of that intelligence team putting together a file that you already have to send to the NCUA, and then using that and really quantifying value for you so you don't have to work on that yourself per se. But I would say when you do have roadblocks with business intelligence teams, I think some of that does merit a more strategic discussion. I think every department should have an ability to make a data set or have improvements to data sets, at least on an annual basis. So, those are things I encourage, if your department, if you're business development, if you're strategy, if you're lending and you use certain reports kind of baked into your overall function for the organization, that business intelligence team should allocate you at least that 1 year, one-time grace to be able to make some updates to data sets because data is always evolving, our strategy is evolving, and those numbers have to speak to what we're trying to accomplish. So that's just I guess a 2 cents that I'm adding to Ben's answer to that question as well. And then the other question was a copy of slides. We are going to share a copy of slides to all the attendees, so don't worry. And we encourage you, feel free to share that with others within your organization. We'd love more people to see what we have to offer, also leverage the tactics and tips that we talked today, whether you're a credit union or a league. Please feel free to share that information as you get the follow-up.
And I got a question kind of offline around due diligence. So if, again, this kind of goes under the bucket of data security and wanting to ensure that your members' information is safe. So if you're looking to do this and your compliance team, your data team needs the insurance that we are an organization that's focused on this, please let us know, and happy to send over our due diligence package that includes our SOC 2 type 2 audit and compliance letter, as well as all the information that your compliance team would ever want to ask, and probably more. So yeah, feel free to reach out if you need that. I don't have any other questions coming through the chat or the Q&A. Did you see any?
No, I think we covered them all. It looks like. And of course, if any questions come up after, Pete has put in the chat both my meeting link and Ben's meeting link, so feel free to reach out or schedule time with us if you want to dig any deeper or discuss any further any of the content we discussed today.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Again, I think the thing I'll just leave you with is, with all the changes that are happening, it seems like I think probably every meeting I'm in, it's like times are uncertain, or all these kind of like high level. Credit unions really need to focus on being able to tell our story, no matter what is happening out there, politically, in the market, et cetera. And so that's really what we're focused on, is how can we help you tell prospective members why be a part of the credit union. And it is more important now than ever, of course, but also this should be something that you focus on day in and day out, and we just want to help you do that. So with that, thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you, Deliana, for joining me today, and this is great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.